Hey everyone, today we reveal office differences as boring squabbles. Is Lai Yang and Fang Mingxin really okay? Besides, Fang Mingxin said after filming, he was told Lai Yang wanted to meet by the river. Sounds like a movie script. But when he got there, he didn't find anyone, not even a shadow, so he sadly went home alone. However, strangely, Old Chen compared Fang Mingxin's fingerprints with those at the crime scene and they matched perfectly. Jaw-dropping. So the police decided to nab him, but when they arrived at Fang Mingxin's house, he had already pulled a disappearing act. Soon, they successfully caught Fang Mingxin, but he insisted he didn't kill anyone, almost like he was on a reality show. But he couldn't explain why his fingerprints were on the cup at the crime scene, leaving Old Chen and the team scratching their heads, as if they were in a mystery. Just then, the chief found them, saying it was normal, no murderer admits their crime, but with the fingerprint. They could pin the crime on Fang Mingxin. The chief also told Old Chen and the team to back off and let others handle it from there. Even though the killer was found, Old Chen felt uneasy, convinced things were more complicated. And sure enough, the feathers they sent for testing returned with results. Time to unveil the mystery. The feathers came from a bird that only lives around Huangshan, almost like giving the killer a travel guide. Old Chen found Fang Mingxin never went to Huangshan, while suspect San had been working there all along. Could there be more than one culprit? The truth grew murkier, so Old Chen decided to rush to Huangshan to find the San. At the San's workplace, they found 2 lovebirds and a pair of shoes. All the evidence pointed to San. Old Chen planned to call the factory manager to grab him, only to find out San had already skipped. So Old Chen and his team raced off to chase him down, like a scene straight out of an action movie. But San wasn't the killer. He planned to steal Lai Liang's money and accidentally became a witness. Scared out of his wits, San hid in the toilet and heard Lai Liang arguing with someone, and suddenly a scream pierced the air. Then he peered through the door crack and accidentally caught a glimpse of Lai Liang's corpse, the shock leaving him paralyzed. There definitely was another, but Old Chen's further investigation was halted by the chief's call, like a divine summons. The chief told them not to get involved in the case anymore, but after digging deeper, Old Chen began to smell a conspiracy. What troubled him even more was that there were still questions about those feathers. So he told Xiao Kind to head back while he stayed behind to continue investigating, channeling his inner detective. He discovered that a few days prior, they had stopped a car that had animal bodies in the trunk like a crime scene waiting to happen. There were 2 people in the car, one named Lin Fujian, the other one lost in the fog of memory. While on the surface this seemed unrelated to the case, Old Chen felt the key clue was right here. The feathers on Lai Liang's corpse might have come from that wrench, complicating the situation even further. Old Chen sensed something fishy. Suddenly, 2 strange men blocked him. What did they want? "What are you doing?" "Mind your own business," they said as they began to throw punches, leaving Old Chen completely blindsided. He cleverly seized the moment to leap onto a passing car, escaping like a hero in the movies. Back at the precinct, Old Chen filled Xiao Kind in on the investigation, like sharing an incredible scoop. Xiao Kind advised him to drop it, saying the chief had warned Old Chen, better safe than sorry. But Old Chen's sense of duty wouldn't let him quit, even though he couldn't explain why Fang Mingxin's fingerprints were at the scene. He was almost sure that Fang Mingxin was not the real killer. The truth behind this whole mess seemed far more complicated than he thought. What a jaw-dropper. Old Chen began tracking down the car's license plate, only to uncover a wrench in the trunk, like prying open the secret, so that the car belonged to the militia command, and the driver was Liu Qiuqiang. Seems like the clues were finally aligning. Old Chen tracked Liu Qiuqiang's house, but he wasn't home. Was he really the one dodging capture? Fortunately, Old Chen discussed the case with his colleagues, playing the role of a talkative detective. There were 2 questions he couldn't puzzle out: the killer's motive and why Fang Mingxin's fingerprint showed up at Lai Liang's place. "My business, Lalu." This teacup, indeed, it really can function in that manner. They can move fingerprints to frame others. Absolutely, the murderer must possess such a kind of connection, right? Ming He, in pondering that there's a mountain behind this case. "Yes, go find Fang Mingxin right away, I'll handle this myself." But when Old Chen arrived at the interrogation room to see Fang Mingxin, he discovered had mysteriously vanished. Was this all a trap? Old Chen's mind raced with questions. At that moment, he ran into an old colleague, who was now security guard, offering some advice.